Have you ever really stopped to wonder what's protecting a priceless painting from fading away? Or, say, a $1 billion data center from going up in smoke? Well, it turns out there's this entire unseen world of technology, chemistry, and some really meticulous planning that's all dedicated to shielding our most valuable stuff. So let's pull back the curtain on this hidden science of preservation. Yeah, we tend to look at disasters as these unstoppable, random acts of fate. But this quote from the UN's disaster reduction team, it really challenges that whole idea. It's basically saying, look, it's not about fate, it's about preparation. And as we're about to see, that preparation has become an absolutely astonishing and sophisticated art form. And the stakes, they are incredibly high. $16 million. That is the estimated loss from a single museum fire. And you know what caused it? A lack of basic smoke detectors and sprinklers. An entire collection, including 40 historic airplanes, just gone. Forever. It's a really stark reminder of what happens when that preparation fails. So, how do we stop a catastrophe like that from ever happening? Well, we start big. We start with the first line of defense, the building itself. You have to think of it like the outer wall of a fortress, designed to take that first big hit from threats, like a fire. Now, protection is definitely not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. The solution has to be tailored specifically to the risk. So for your typical office, yeah, it's standard water sprinklers are going to do the trick. But in a paint booth, which is full of flammable chemicals, you need a specialized dry chemical system. And for an aircraft hangar sitting next to tons of jet fuel, that requires a high-expansion foam system that can cost well over $1 million. To really get the difference in scale here, think of it like this. A water sprinkler is kind of like a sledgehammer. It's effective, it's reliable for most fires, but a high-expansion foam system, that is a full-on tidal wave. It is literally engineered to fill a massive space, like an airplane hangar, with fire-suppressing foam in just a couple of minutes. It's an incredible solution for a very specific and very dangerous threat. Okay, so let's zoom in a little. We're going from the entire building down to a single room. Because in spaces like a server room or maybe a historical archive, that sledgehammer or tidal wave approach would be just as destructive as the fire itself. You can't just douse everything in water. This is where you need a more surgical approach. A clean agent system, it doesn't use water or foam at all. Instead, it releases a special gas that basically starves the fire of oxygen or sucks the heat right out of it. The fire is extinguished, but all the servers, the ancient documents, the delicate tapes, they are left completely untouched, totally dry, no residue, no damage. It's almost as if the fire never even happened. But fire isn't the only threat out there. In a museum gallery, the enemy is often invisible. It's the air itself. Over time, the wrong environment can completely destroy priceless art. So, specialized HVAC systems create this perfect little sanctuary, holding the temperature and humidity in a super precise, unwavering range, all while scrubbing nasty pollutants from the air. They can even create different microclimates inside the same building, tailored to protect, say, an oil painting in one room and ancient paper scrolls right next door. All right, so we've gone from the building to the room. Now let's zoom in one last time to the final level, the individual object itself. And here, the protection becomes almost microscopic. It's like a custom-fit suit of invisible armor. This kind of protection is happening all the time, even when we can't see it. The glass in front of a painting, it's probably filtering out damaging UV light. The paint itself might be treated with a chemical that literally fuses flaking layers back together. A lot of public murals even have this clear, sacrificial coating. So if it gets tagged with graffiti, you don't clean the mural, you just remove the coating, and the graffiti just vanishes right along with it. How cool is that? So we've seen all these incredible layers of proactive defense. But let's be real, no system is perfect. A pipe bursts, a sprinkler goes off by accident, a flood happens. What do you do in that moment when the asset you've so carefully protected is suddenly soaking wet? In that situation, panic is not an option. Instead, there's a calm, methodical first aid process. First, the object is moved and carefully tilted to drain water away from its delicate surface. Then, it's placed up on blocks to let air circulate all around it. And then comes the hardest part. It's left completely alone. No wiping, no scrubbing, just letting it air dry while waiting for the experts. It's a real testament to a disciplined, patient response. Okay, we've talked about some incredible technology. Gaseous systems, chemical coatings, climate control. But all of it, every single bit, relies on one thing: the human element. And that is, without a doubt, the most critical component of any protection plan. This image, right here, it says it all. This isn't some $1 million computer, it's people. It's the staff at a museum in Barbados working together to board up windows before a hurricane hits. And through drills, they actually realized that waiting until 24 hours before a storm was too late. Staff would be busy taking care of their own families. So they changed the plan and now start prepping 48 hours out. It just proves that technology is only a tool. The real shield is people who plan, practice, and adapt. And as conservator Barbara Roberts points out, you can't just have one person with a megaphone shouting orders when things go wrong. An effective plan involves everybody, from the director to the security guards to the maintenance crew. Each person is empowered with the knowledge of what to do, and that creates this resilient human network that technology can support, but it can never, ever replace. So when you look at it all together, the story of asset protection is just fascinating. It scales from these massive architectural systems all the way down to the molecular level of a paint binder. And the whole thing is built on a foundation of human planning, training, and teamwork. And all of this leaves you with one final thought. We build these incredible things. We create priceless art. We gather irreplaceable data. This heritage that we've built is so much more fragile than we think. So the real question is, are we being as clever and as dedicated in protecting it as we are in creating it in the first place?